illusion of a self or a separate self, in other words, can be called a person, personhood, personality, or character. And the story is about me. It's always about me. The character is me. So the story is told in a third perspective about a character. And like any good story, it needs a character. It cannot be without it. So as the character is being created and identified with, that me becomes real. And yes, it's a real character in a real story, but the whole story is fictional. So what is this personhood or identity? There are so many words pointing to the same. It's just like a veil through which we perceive life. Like everything is seen through the eyes of that person, of me. And because the person is limited, it has its likes, dislikes, it has ideas, hopes, fears, and everything. There is so much resistance to anything other than me. So when the story arises, it can be a nice story. Doesn't matter, it's the story. But when the story arises and that character is in play, that it seems like that character decides what's happening in the story. So what is that resistance? What's the role of the resistance in that personal story? So that story needs to be protected because, it's my precious, my story. And I believe this, I don't believe that. This is how it is. I know that, I don't know that. All this is a belief system that needs to be protected because otherwise I don't know what I am. And now I have an identity. I know what I am. These are my likes, my dislikes, and my ideas about who I am and what is the world. So the structure of personality consists of thoughts, images, memories, emotions, behavior. And everything seems like there's this me, a character that is running the show. And there is no problem in that. Because everyone is in it. Everyone is playing that. But seeing through the illusion of a separate self is recognition that I'm not that character. I'm not that story. And that story is just something that is arising along everything else, along in life. Just a wave. So kind of disidentifying from that story, we can start looking at what we really are, what's going on here. I remember days when the story would come in and it would like to retell itself. Like, oh, that happened. Yes, but that happened and that happened and then this happened. And I would start feeling something and then juicy. And next day, the story continues. And it's a little bit different, a little bit added extra or something is lost, doesn't matter. But that story continues and it likes to retell itself. So juicy. But then I walk around the world, around reality, with the story running in my head, and I don't even see what's going on really. So seeing through that story that it's not me or mine, it allows it to be there, but it's not so important anymore. It's not something that I need to, hold so precious and, God forbid something happens to me in the story that I don't like or others gonna see me like that. So the resistance is there to protect the story, the personality. But we are not that. Without clinging to the story or identifying to the story, I can show up in this moment just as I am, without thinking how I should appear, what you should think of me. It's just being here. So part of the seeing through the illusion of a separate self is recognizing what is fictional and what is actual. What is fictional and what is actual. And the actuality is just simply this. That is showing up in this moment as it is. It doesn't require thinking. It doesn't require judging what this is. It can just be. There's no clinging to it. And the fiction is everything else. The past, the future, and all the judgments. So when we are looking for freedom or for escape of being a person, we are looking to stop that story from being so important, from being the only thing that is value and that is running the show. Because without that story, everything's still here. Everything is still the same. And you can note the story running in the head. Let's say I'm talking, you're hearing whatever I'm saying, and it can be just words passing through you, passing through and out, and new words are coming in, doesn't matter. Or there can be a voice saying, something, blah, 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 about it, resisting it, accepting it, doesn't matter. If there is a voice talking something while hearing these words, that's a story running. That's seeing, perceiving whatever is going on through the character. And it's so easy to notice that story as soon as we just shut up for 5 minutes. You know, if there is no action, no doing, no talking, nothing. The attention is resting. Something is going to come up. Then who's talking there? Or what is going on there with that voice in the head, with that narrator? Is that the person talking? Or it's talking about the person? Just some thoughts coming up. Thoughts are not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. It's also part of what is showing up. It becomes a problem when it talks in a way that I am separate, I'm suffering, I need to get back to the whole, I need to connect, I don't know who I am. That becomes problematic. Then it's a lot of energy going into resolving this question. But without thoughts, just being here, there is no separateness. Without the story, there is no character, there is no person, just being. And the narrative may go like, oh, there is oneness. I haven't experienced that. I want to know it by experience, this unity. Or how would it feel to be one with everything? I am one with everything. That's just thoughts about concept of oneness. Like making this into some kind of goal to achieve, some kind of project. But without thoughts about it, it's just this. It's not divided. There is no line dividing anything. It's the thoughts that create that illusion of a separateness. And then the thoughts are trying to resolve that question of what is this I? Why do I feel separate? How to be one? So without creating that story of separateness, there's just this that is here. And sure thing, in human life, we need these individual perspectives as we go along and go around life. It's part of it. The question is that something that I identify with as me, as this is what I am, or just seem like a functional thing? Just this sense of self as a functional thing. I think my speech is over now. I don't know what's going on. It's just words come in and come out by themselves. I had no plan to speak, but it seemed that something needed to be said, so it's got said. That's how it looks from here. What needs to be said is going to be said, and that's it. And at this point, I invite you, if you have this question of self, no self, what's going on here with that? Still running and it wants to be resolved. Let's have a conversation and see what happens. Cheers.
I've got a question.
Okay, great. Great to see you again.
Great to be here. What about feelings or emotions like shame, guilt, and embarrassment?
Good question. Yes. Yes. What's about them? Well, there are functional things and dysfunctional, like guilt and shame. And what was the other one?
Embarrassment,
Embarrassment. Yeah,
jealousy, and any of those.
Yeah. Any of those can be functional and dysfunctional. Functional meaning you did something wrong, you know that you did something wrong. Somebody caught you. It feels shameful. I feel guilty and embarrassed. Yeah, why not? That's great. That's kind of how we learn what not to do, how not to behave as a human. But if that is something that is part of personality, that just feeling shame constantly just for being, for existing, or feeling guilty that you are here, or feeling embarrassed about your face or body or mind or emotions, that's dysfunctional. That's something that is built into a personality, and being identified with that is really, really painful. So if that is something that is running constantly every day, then it's very worth to look at it and resolve it, because that is not meant to be there. It's not who you are. It's not how you are. It's just something learned, acquired, conditioned, believed, owned, projected. And it's self-confirming. If that belief is running in the system, the world will confirm it for you multiple times. So that the program that is running dysfunctionally is self-confirming. And because it's part of personality, it's being protected by resistance. And the way to resolve it is to see the whole pattern, how it works, like mechanics of it. What's going on here?
Thank you. Well, what's coming up here is kind of a joy because that makes complete sense. Functional versus dysfunctional, or what you said is, am I, let's say, identified with the shame? Why can't shame just be another arising and then be used, like you said, to learn something from? But it's not who I am. That's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I only met you today, really, on internet somehow. And I'm Polish, and I used to go to Lithuania quite a bit, and somehow your surname sounded Lithuanian, so I just felt a lot of warmth. I enjoyed Lithuanian people a lot. And to think, speaking of shame, I periodically experience this shame of not being awakened, or thinking I am not awake. And it's a particular kind of shame. Yeah, especially having had some foretastes of awakening, long time ago, quite profound, and kind of unpacking it ever since 35 years ago. So I don't have a question around it. Just kind of wanted to bring it in because it was as if it's a secret, a secretive shame. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your secret. Now everyone knows it. It's no longer a secret.
Yes.
Yeah, but what does it say? Like you should be awakened by now, or what does that narrative about the awakening is saying, really?
So clearly, it's something to do with how I am being perceived by other people. Otherwise, because it doesn't feel, I don't know, maybe I am also how I am perceiving myself, really, around. So that, yes, there is a should. But it's not just a should, there is some pain around that. It's sadness, and it's painful to live from the artificiality of this persona. It kind of, turns something within me that doesn't feel very palatable.
Yeah.
There isn't even so much a longing for awakening. It's simpler. Maybe it's not simpler, but it seems simpler because I can more relate to that, which is simplicity and innocence, living a simple and innocent expression. And this touches me. This touches my heart.
Can we invite that, what you call shame, or let's call it energy? Let's call it energy. Let's invite it here. You can run some thoughts in your mind. Bring it up. Bring it in. Like it's allowed. You can be here. It's allowed.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with that emotion or that sensation or that energy. Just letting it be.
Yeah. I mean, the sensation is as if there is a kind of a pressure that turns around, comes from here and turns around and presses against my chest. And I also noticed casting my eyes down as if it's not okay to look up in that also.
Okay. Let's look down. Don't do anything other than what it wants. It just wants to be seen. That's the truth of it. It wants to be seen, allowed, honored, welcomed,
And
acknowledged.
I don't need to go there probably, but there is an association of being a young child in that.
Yeah, see, when you bring attention to it, it shows you maybe where it started or maybe where it's the most painful.
Mm.
Yeah, so let's go there. Let's go with that little child. Just see that little child. Welcome her. She's beautiful, innocent. Say hello to her. Hello, little one. I love you so much. You're beautiful.
Yeah, she seems to feel alone, and there is an incomprehension of why it seems like she has been shamed, that it came from outside, and there is an incomprehension of why. No content in that. Oh,
Can you look at her and say, whoever said something to you wasn't about you, it was about them. Just express what they believed, what they saw, whoever that was. It wasn't about you. Just took it to be about you. You didn't know any better. But it's not you, it's not yours, it's not who you are. And ask the little one, did you do something naughty that you had to feel shame? Did you do something?
there is this emphatic movement on of her head.
No. Well, then it's definitely not yours. It's not what I said is a functional shame. It's just something taken on as a part of personality. Believing in that.
Oh,
It's not yours.
it's kind of, there is this movement, this emphatic movement of no, it feels innocent, actually.
Yes. Tell her right now, I see. I know that you're innocent. I know that.
And there is still this movement wanting to apologize
Okay. Yeah.
for, I want to say for being innocent.
So innocent, isn't it?
Yes. Say it again.
It's so innocent.
Yeah. Oh,
Say, I forgive you. Everyone forgives you for being innocent. It's actually beautiful. So valuable. You don't need to apologize for that. You don't need to apologize for who you are or the way you are. So I would really be happy if you just could Be yourself. Show yourself. Open up as you are.
So it updates itself to more now, and this thing about the shame of not being awake, whatever it means, because
Yeah.
I'm clever, I will say, of not thinking that I'm awake, but it's just being clever.
Okay. And
Really being awake, and that's like, sorry, I don't know what to say. Still can't raise my eyes.
and what would being awake look like?
It wouldn't look like, it would feel like differently. This is an imagination.
Yeah, you would feel like differently. And what would it feel like?
There would be purity, innocence, simplicity. Um, there wouldn't be kind of distorting of what comes through, and as it comes through, it wouldn't get distorted. It would be direct in this way.
Oh, nice. Nice that energy. And are you ready for that?
No,
No?
I don't know if I'm ready. It's precious.
Yeah. Mm,
It's precious.
yeah. Let's invite that preciousness here. You're welcome. You're so welcome.
There is love of it.
Yes. Yeah. Let's say to it, you are welcome to open up and just be you. You're free. Tell it you are free. Ask it, is there anything in the way of your freedom? Just checking.
Say it again.
Is there anything in the way of your freedom? Ask it that.
I cannot find anything in the way. There was a thought that there is a bunch of thoughts, but actually they are not experienced as thoughts, but as a little bit of tension in my right part of my head. That's not in the way.
That's not in the way.
No. Oh. Oh.
Just letting it all settle in the right place, right size, natural state, natural function. Just coming home. Yeah, because that energy wanted to move freely, express freely, but it was kind of trapped into the personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to kind of overtake the personality because I usually in these contexts just never speak in these kinds of gatherings. Just the shame has been kind of big. So somehow today I spoke.
It was ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Very simple question. Are you awake right now?
I am, I guess.
You
But I
guess?
guess because oh,
Whatever the word awake means. Are you awake right now?
I cannot deny it. Mm. And there is a thought that, and now it presses through that it would look different. So I wasn't honest when I said that it's not about how it would look.
Mhm.
Um,
Well,
but
but the reality looks like as it looks right now. It's nothing else to it. Like being present to what is here. It's literally just being present to what is here. The word awake sometimes can be a little bit trippy because what we are, we're not ever asleep. You know, it's not like something what we are wakes up in some magical, mysterious way. It's more like recognition that what you are, you was never asleep.
so what I notice is that there is a tension in the body, and the idea is that there would be a relaxation of the tension.
Uh-huh, okay.
Partly in my head as well. That
So perhaps that tension is ready to be seen. Let's look at that. Okay. Yeah. So you are here as this presence, as this openness. You are here. The tension comes and goes. It's something that is moving through, in and out. It's not who you are, it's not what you are. It's just some movement that you are noticing. So tell that tension, tell that energy, I see you. I see you. Acknowledge you're here.
Yeah, it kind of intensified, and I don't have a movement to go into mental contact of it. I mean, I could, but it's like I don't feel it's necessary. It's enough that the tension is here.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome. You can be as you are. There is enough space for you here. You can show yourself fully. Come on out. Come on.
So
Show yourself.
what's happening now is what's been happening for the last few weeks, I guess. When I meditate, I don't I formally meditate, but often it's just like I wake up or when I go to bed, I'm just lying, and there is this. What started happening is like I noticed the tension throughout all of the body. And in that moment, it's not the first time, it has been before as well, but when I notice the tension, there is like taking my hands off the body, like my mind stops interfering. And I just experienced at this moment here that I can look now at people and I can be tense. And yes, I am. So this is like a déjà vu. It came back to me. And so there is this moment where the mind takes its hands off from the experience and the experiences of tension, but there is no movement to change it. And it lasts a while, but it eases off very quickly. And then she breathes and she flows. And then it repeats itself. So, the mind, the thoughts kind of over do this, and kind of incapacitate apparently the body. So, and then it's waking up again, and it's just the same.
Yeah. It's like
Rhythm.
breathing, expanding, contracting, expanding,
Mm-hmm.
contracting.
Okay.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Let's breathe with it. Just breathe a little bit with it. Like it's
Oh.
okay. That also wants some air.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe with it. Expanding, contracting.
I kind of demonize the contracting. I see. Like, this is the bed side of it, the bed side of, you know, it's like I wasn't quite honest with myself around that. But
Let's just watch it natural movement. He wants to breathe, let it breathe. And you can invite it to self-adjust. Your attention does that automatically anyway. But you can invite it consciously to self-adjust, saying you're free. You have full permission to self-adjust. Get yourself comfortable into the natural state, natural form.
and when you say it,
Mhm.
what it that it can self-adjust? Because I don't,
That energy.
the energy. Okay.
Yeah.
So now there is shyness.
Oh, sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah, when we stop, everything is welcome. There's enough space for everything to show up as it wants. And that attention itself, your attention itself is what these movements need. It's like, it's like there's this flower here, a bud, but for it to open, to blossom, it wants sun. So your attention is like a sun that gives warmth and light to that energy to open. I can do its thing.
So what happens to the attention when I fall asleep? Because it's just at some point it's like, oh, where have I been? A moment ago. I know only that there is this kind of waking up and the tension that the body mirrors something. The body shows the contraction that. Yeah.
Well, we can say that when the mind is active and is dreaming about other stuff that is not here, then you wake up to being present, that kind of shift of attention from imagined into the real or actual. Yeah, we can say waking up.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a shift of attention.
I was dreaming. That's true. Because, of course, sometimes, I do notice, that there is this kind of a middle ground where there is a presence to the dreaming,
Mm-hmm.
awake, dreaming
Mm-hmm.
awake.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, funny I say that, but it's like, off the cuff of my hand that just kind of some little weird dreams are happening, having nothing to do with anything that is happening. So yeah.
I don't really like to dismiss the stories or dismiss the mind. Like you may hear, oh, that's just thoughts. It's not. It's not just thoughts because they keep coming and keep coming. That's part of the personality. That's, in other words, it's a trapped energy that wants attention to self release. And by saying, well, these are just thoughts, or I'm just dreaming, or it shouldn't be happening, or in any way, when we fight with the story, we are not allowing the story to liberate itself. And when it liberates itself, then it can be here or not. It doesn't matter. It's welcome. It's included. It's not something that we need to fight with or, guard against.
Mm.
So everything's included, including the story, including the thoughts, including the dreaming, including whatever is coming up that wants attention. But that's my view. Other people would say, oh, you just don't pay attention to thoughts, don't pay attention to thoughts. Maybe that works too. I'm not saying that it doesn't. But from what I've seen is that these thoughts will keep coming until they get what they need. And it's not really thoughts that are coming. It's that trapped energy that wants to open up and release. That's why these thoughts are bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up. So it's meeting that contraction or that pain or that wound fully that stops these thoughts from coming.
Somehow I understood that, which is a surprise for me, because it's not the first time I've heard it, slightly different wording, but yeah.
So it's more like I am here, and whatever is arising, it's valid.
So this is life speaking as well, sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even the personality is, life. So I am here. Whatever is coming wants my attention. If I give it freely, if I don't fight, then something can open up.
Yeah, what I've been discovering this last few weeks is more that, as if this movement is exclusively from the body, through the experience. But now I get it that, just like the tip of the wave, when there is a froth, so it's just like that the thinking is also part of this wave that wants to have its place somehow.
Yeah. And that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Thank you.
Very welcome. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Can I say something?
Please.
I just want to say thank you so much, Kama. That was so beautiful, so authentic. And it was just, it was just, I don't know, the word fabulous of the word that comes is unconditional love. There was a love being experienced that had no conditions, which allowed, like Ilona said, allowed everything just to be there and expressed. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, would anyone else like, please?
So refreshing today. Glad that I was able to hear this.
Mhm.
I've been hanging out with a radical non-dual crowd for a while.
Okay.
Right?
It's fun.
Uh, you know, Jim Newman, that whole gang. And I'm excited about it, and I've had lost the sense of a separate self many years ago. But I think that it seems that it's been taken too far, because to say that there's no subject-object duality at all, there's no self at all, just doesn't seem to jive with my experience. There are times when I can sit and the subject-object duality will dissolve, and there's a sense of oneness, and there's no sense of self whatsoever. And, it's just all process going on, and how delightful. But as soon as I get together with my wife or my kids, or I'm in a car or I'm driving, in honesty, that's not there anymore. I'm dealing with a sense of self, in that I'm here and those objects are out there, and that's a stop sign, and those are cars, and that reality to it. Also, I have a feeling that when I'm looking from a particular point in space.
Mhm.
Now that point may be totally constructed mentally, but what you said, and it stuck in my head, and it was like, duh, it's a functional self. It doesn't mean that there's a separate existent self, but it's a functional self. It's something that this biological body needs to function. And if there's no self at all, why do I go on a diet to lose weight? For what in the future? Right? I mean, what's the point of it? You could say, oh, it's just something that comes up in a thought. It's just an experience. It's just a desire. Well, yeah, but I'm doing it for a reason. I'm suffering a little bit now, or the body is suffering, or there is a suffering a little bit arising and not eating. And in the future, I have a belief that I will feel better. True or not, I don't know, but I may engage upon that at times. Other times I may not. So I think that it's a much more realistic and practical way to look at things from this point of view. Because I never get rid of a felt sense of self. I mean, it's not there all the time, right? I mean, you feel that there's somebody walking behind you. You don't feel that way all behind. If you do, you have a problem. But, you're out on a dark street, you have a feeling, you turn around. It's not a problem, right? It's just a protective motion. And I think the self is the same way. A felt sense of self. I'm trying to get rid of it all the time. I'm trying to get rid of thoughts all the time. I'm struggling. Oh, there's thoughts. Why am I having any dialogue in my mind at all? And there's a resistance and a contraction to it. I'm just identifying with what you said, and hoping that maybe you'll clarify it a bit. And I'm going to think about it. I'll be thinking about it. But I found it very common sense. You know what I'm saying? It didn't, like, there's nothing difficult to believe there. There doesn't seem to be so much effort to stop dualistic thinking, to stop any narration whatsoever. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, and the radical non-duality of that group?
I love it.
Andreas,
I love it, but it's a pointer. It's not the truth. It's a pointer. The truth is, the human mind is too small to know what this is. And say, oh, this is how it is, that's it. For this limited small mind, yes. But there is so much more going on than the limited small mind. It's what arises, right? And if it gets an idea, okay, now I know how it is. I mean, it's a trap. But as a pointer, it's wonderful, because it lets you to question the beliefs that we have about reality, about yourself and everything. and it points to something. And when it's seen, you don't need a pointer anymore. You don't need to repeat that pointer to yourself. It matters that you see, the simple thing, the finger pointing to the moon, pointing to my. So you can look at the finger, or you can look at what it points to. So if I have this pointer that there is no self, then I look at that. I look in my experience. I recognize what it points to. And that's it. I carry on living life.
Yeah.
But if I have to remind myself about it all the time, there is no self. This story is just nothing because there is nobody here, and all kind of that non-duality, radical non-duality narrative. Then it's I'm looking at the finger and thinking that that's the truth. It's a pointer.
Yeah.
Right. It has its function. It's wonderful. It's very important at some point in life. But once it's seen what it points to, that's it. Unless you are kind of a teacher and you keep repeating that because new people come and they need to see that as well. But there is absolute and there is relative. There is God and there is a human. There is whole and there is individual. There is oneness and there is person. It's all included.
Yeah.
And then
it's all included.
And then we go around our lives and, feeding cats, taking care of business and making sure you have money in bank account, and all that is included. So we don't need to carry on with our pointer when we're in a bank. So no use there. You've seen these cartoons, all kinds of cartoons about, but there's nobody here. In the wrong place, it's a joke. In the right place, it's very powerful and very, I would say, sharp weapon to cut through the illusions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay. Who else would like to explore or share? Please.
So what does it feel like to be separate? I don't understand that.
Say again.
How does it feel to be separate from? I don't know. I don't understand. To be separate from what? When you say separate, I don't get it.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is that?
The answer is yes. Yeah. It feels like a massive contraction. Come here, the world is outside. And it's against me, and I have to fight, and I have to, go make things happen for me because I'm not cared for. I'm not loved. I'm not good enough. And whatever other beliefs that support that feeling of contraction. She feels very contracted, lonely, alone.
So then when you point to not separate, so that's the unfeeling of what you just said. Oh,
Not separate is the background of presence or awareness. And everything that arises and goes. It's like waves in the ocean. They don't have existence without the ocean. So this feeling of separateness is kind of like I'm a wave. And look at me, I'm going to run to the shore and die. That's the end of me. But it's like giving a voice to our imagined subject. And then it has the whole story with it, and the whole feelings with it, and the whole behavior with it. But that's misidentification. And once it's seen through that that's not what I am, a lot of that story just falls away naturally. Some things are stickier and they need to be worked on. But that contraction starts to open up. There is comfort in being you as you are. In your life, in your body, in your relationships, in your environment. It's a feeling of freedom, being of how you are as this human.
to separate is only when lost in thoughts. Like if now here we're here, we're not separate.
Yeah, like you said, from what? That's the question I ask when people are saying that I'm separate. From what? From life? From what? From nature? And it runs until it's checked or until it's becomes conscious. It can be our whole life experience, feeling outside of life, cast away from life. But it's very interesting when you start looking at that. What is that separateness? How do you know it's even here? What informs about it being separate?
But if you never really heard about it before, and then you hear that you're separate, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because there's nothing like it to find an experience. It's imagined, pure fiction. I see, like you come to a lake and you take a finger and draw a circle on the top of the water, and you look like, oh, there's a circle. I just drew it, but there's nothing there. You know? Oh, this water is inside the circle. That water is outside. It's just like that. You know, it's drawing a circle with a finger on the water. It's not there, but you can imagine it. You can get attached to it and be very, very clingy to that separateness and insist that you are separate. And that's a lot of people's experience. But when you start looking at it, you see that there's no evidence of that. Like what we thought that was separate me, sometimes people say there is something inside there looking out, like a separate contraction, that's me, or the heart is contracted, that me, but that's a contraction. And the resistance is contraction. And that resistance is holding it there. Because it's so precious, it cannot be let go. So that's me.
So when then I'm open to whatever arises, everything, then that fades away by itself. It was never there.
Right?
It fades away. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't confuse. It's not confusing anymore. It's clear that whatever contraction or sensation or energy or emotion or whatever you want to call it is not me. It's not what I am. It's not even mine. It's a phenomenon that is showing up. And there is enough space for it.
So that the contraction that's how I show up in life, or I don't know how to put it.
I don't know why you want to feel separate.
No.
I think we come here to feel separate and then to dismantle
No,
that craziness.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Ilona.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, would anyone else like to share, explore? Please.
Just quickly, if I may,
Of course.
kind of going back with what Cliff was talking about or asking. And then you answered it perfectly. Let's see, I was reading a book and the author is Susan Segal. She said when one realizes the unity of everything, or the non-duality, if you want to use that pointer, of everything, that's primary, and then differentiation is secondary. Both are still necessary, like you were saying, Ilona. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that because that helped me figure out what Cliff was talking about. So
Yeah, one aspect of no self is object, subject, right? Or awareness and content. And then it seems like there's a gap. And taking it from human point of view, I am here, life is there. But it's not like that, it's this.
That was cool. It's like you could say, if you, again, using these words, like non-duality would be the context,
Mm-hmm.
and the separate self or the functional self would be the content. You have to still have both. You have to have the context in which the content can go around and play around in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm looking at like human, it's like a unit of organism. There is a skin, right? There's a skin. There is nervous system. There is sensing, environment. There is knowing what's behind the back, what's in front. There is knowing how wide is the door, so not you don't bump into the frame when you're walking through. You don't try to walk through the wall. So there is that sensing of environment around the body. And I don't remember where I listened, and I got this idea. They were talking about the skin as the organ for ego. Like ego, or individual self, is the skin. Because it separates inside from outside. It has this sensing of what is me, what is not me. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Skin, it's like that's what it does, separates inside from outside, and we feel outside through the skin. And so is ego as a structure. It senses what is here and what is not me, like what other human, or the cat, or the table, something.
Well, I've been playing with the senses, right? The five senses: sight, touch, taste, all of that. And again, well, like right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting in this chair. But if I put my attention on the butt in the chair, all there is sensation there. So really, in direct experience, there's no body and no chair. There's just sensation. So that would be like no object, no subject, no Homer, no chair. But at the same time, I'm going to get up and walk, like you said, through a door.
Mm-hmm.
So even though on the one hand, there's no body sitting in the chair, there's just sensation. On the other hand, I can tell where the body ends and the chair begins because I'm going to get up out of the chair and walk through a door. So somehow, and I don't know how that happened, there's both of those perspectives are here. There's no body sitting in the chair. It's just pure sensation. And I know where the body starts and the chair ends. I know the difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's it. I know. There's non-dual, just sensation, and there's duality, body and chair.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chair and no body, and there's a body and a chair. I don't know how any of that happened, but
Yeah, it's fascinating.
it is just crazy. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not this body suit, spacesuit. It wouldn't be this experience. So it has to include that spacesuit. And if it's all a dream, it's fine also. But that's what I said there with the limited mind. The limited mind cannot know the whole. It will never know the whole. Even though there is such a desire, such a need to understand for the safety of the organism. And it's a little bit sad that he cannot, but he cannot.
You know, I found that recently giving up on the idea of, or the wanting or the desire to know
Mhm.
has been very refreshing and liberating. And like, why didn't I do that earlier? Why did I wait so long? It just, knowing just doesn't do it for me anymore. I have no desire to know, no desire to seek. I'm not to understand. It's just not there. And I find it absolutely delightful.
Sweet. So you have no fear of not knowing, because this is one of the biggest fears that people have, not knowing.
Yeah. It's rather just to delight in it. Just so it's a mystery. It's wonderful. It's not knowing.
Mhm.
Isn't that great? It's all a surprise. It's like haven't seen this episode yet.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just it's just really nice. And the realizing that there's nothing to know, and you couldn't know it anyway. It's all inevitable. You know, as soon as you try to know it, you just separate it out and reify it and give it a name and a belief, and it's
Right. And what you need to know, you will know. Everything else is irrelevant.
Yeah. Or what I don't know, I got Google now. So, or AI. What if I care anymore, right?
Yeah, if you have electricity, if you don't, that's it. We don't know anything then.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very liberating to arrive at that. I don't know and I don't care. I don't care that I don't know.
But I do know what it feels like. I do remember what it feels like to feel separate.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a driving factor for 50 years. That sense of separateness that I was trying to reconcile and to get rid of. That was the whole thing. I could remember it, and this was me. I was in this skin bag, and everything else was out there. And I was a small little tiniest bit in the gigantic universe. And I was here for a short period of time, and then I would be gone. And nobody could really ever know what it feels like to be me or what I think or whatever. And there was that sense of separateness. And there was this always desire. And I think this is, an innate desire for human beings being pack animals that we are, just like dogs. We want to feel connected to the pack, because if we don't survive, not, in ancient days. So there's that desire to feel that connection. So without the separateness, you realize that you always are connected in so many more ways that you can't be unconnected, even if you tried. It'd be impossible.
Right.
Disconnected from the air, from the sunlight, from the food, from the other people, and it's impossible. But that created self, that could be separate because it's not real. So it just thinks so.
Yeah, very true.
Maybe it's true. It's not. Right.
Well,
Feels right
by
at the
my
moment.
own experience, very true.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it also, that you can speak from experience, and that's what you know from your experience, not from something that you heard.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, I was saying that I wasn't saying, but I think like I mentioned it to you one time before. You helped me tremendously with this many, many years ago. I don't know how many years. I can't keep track of time anymore, but 5 or 10, maybe longer. So
Great. Well, our time is coming to the end, and we're gonna meet again next month in January. Let me see the date, just so I'll let you know right away. It's on 16th of January. Yeah, 16th of January. Yeah. Oh, we can continue. It's really great to be with you. And thank you so much for showing today and sharing. And we can spend last few minutes just being, just being. Thank you, Eddie. Until next time, thank you.